Churches are like streams. The life of the congregation flows forward. Sometimes new streams connect to and feed the first, adding to its strength and life. Today, we've had the great joy of adding 3 members to the life of this beloved community. That stream that is our congregation owes where it is to where it has been. All the people who have shaped its ebb and flow. We know that even in the most tranquil streams, sometimes we have small eddies where turbulence sneaks in. But even then, the stream flows on and things even out again. We here at UCEL, the UU Church of East Liberty, are what is known as a family-sized congregation. When we welcome new members, it is very much welcoming them into the family. As we explore what it means to welcome new members, let's begin by thinking about what it means to be a family-sized congregation. In a church our size, there are often a couple of central people who either make decisions or who are the people that all the decisions flow through. They may not be obvious, but research shows they're a natural part of a family-sized congregation. People primarily join families through marriage, birth, or adoption, and the same is true for these congregations. We welcome new spouses, babies, new members adopted by the entire congregation to become a part of the family. If a congregation this size has a minister, and we do, the minister primarily acts as a chaplain, providing worship and pastoral care. People often love being a part of a family-sized congregation. You know everyone, and you know what's going on in their lives. People know you and look after you. Traditions are maintained, and things feel familiar. The shadow side of the typical family-sized congregation is that it can be hard to find a way into the family. Because people know each other so well, they tend to focus on the people they know in social hour. New members and friends to the church can have difficulty getting involved, establishing relationships, offering their gifts, and even entering into leadership. Outside of Sunday mornings and the services, it can be difficult for people to become integrated into the social groups. Another challenge typical family-sized congregations face is that a few leaders carry most of the workload. You see this when you find the same people holding positions in several committees, or the same names over and over cycling through different committees year after year. UCEL has done a good job of avoiding some of these pitfalls. One significant difference here has been a long focus on professional ministry, which some family-sized congregations reject. This congregation has long had trust in its members and its minister. This has allowed us to become better at sharing leadership and at making decisions together. It has also taken some of the pressure off of the lay leadership. Ministers of family-sized congregations are often asked to focus on pastoral and worship-related duties, and while that is an important part of my ministry, it's not all of it because of the trust and relationship between the leadership and the minister. Family-sized congregations can be particularly prone to struggling to find new ways to welcome people into the congregation. We can resist change. So why do congregations resist change even as they desire to grow? I believe it's because all change brings loss. Even if we don't recognize the loss, it can catch us by surprise. Even eagerly anticipated change means things will be different than what they were. A new job, for example, can be a very exciting time, But it means the loss of old daily routines, loss of previous work relationships, loss perhaps of a former identity. A new baby may be a cause for great joy, but the change of bringing her into a home means loss of quiet, loss of sleep. See, parents are like, yeah. Loss of how things used to be. And change in a congregation, new members, new ministers, new worship structures may all be part of eagerly anticipated growth, but it involves loss in how some things used to be. So it's to be expected that we might resist that at times. And yet we know change is inevitable. The stream of our church flows forward, shaped by everything it has been, and moving forward towards what it will become. It must change in ways both small and large. The only stream that never changes is a stream that runs dry. As we welcome new voices into our membership, we know that they will bring new ideas, new perspectives, new experiences. They will add their power to the stream. And they will offer us different ebbs and flows, and sometimes help us change our direction entirely. Are we ready? How do we prepare ourselves as a congregation for change, for growth? It begins by understanding what draws people to the stream of the congregation to begin with. A few years ago, I encountered a provocative quote. "Everything we do that you can get in a secular community is a waste of time." Everything we do that you can get in a secular community is a waste of time. Right? Provocative quote. Robert Latham, a UU minister and a trainer and writer on congregational size and growth, is speaking here at a workshop I attended called Getting Unstuck, Navigating Size Transitions in Congregations. Everything we do that you can get in a secular community is a waste of time. Do you think that's true? No. I can think of a couple of things we do here that we can find in other places as well that are not a waste of time. I suspect you can too. But much more importantly, are there things people can find here that they can't find anywhere else? In order for a congregation to progress as a community, to find something to offer ourselves and the world, it's vital to have a sense of who we are and realize what we offer matters. Latham says, "The mission is why the congregation exists. Ministry is everything it does to fulfill its mission." As your minister, I serve you by serving your mission. And through that mission and my work with you, I serve Unitarian Universalism. And that spirit has transformed this tradition. That matters to me, and I take that responsibility seriously. So let's review it for just a moment. This is our mission. This is what we say that we offer to people who come through our doors. The mission of the The mission of the Universalist Unitarian, thank you, Congregation of East Liberty is to be a church where people of diverse beliefs can worship in a spirit of reason, tolerance, freedom, and loving fellowship, committed to social justice, enriched by religious education, and sustained by spiritual nourishment. That is what we offer to people who walk through those doors. Churches can get caught up in thinking their only purpose is to grow in numbers, or at least bring in enough people to keep things exactly how they are. You can find churches doing this when they are eager to get you to join just to fill what some ministers have called the 3 Bs: getting more butts in the pews, having enough bills in the plate, and growing resources for building maintenance. You recognize those. It's natural when thinking about growth to focus on the idea of numbers. And not just because of the 3 Bs. It's also because we want to matter to more people. We want more people to feel engaged and passionate about what we have to offer the Jackson area and the world. Because it mattered to us. Numbers can be an easy, if crude, indicator of this impact, of the presence of this community we love in lives of other people. Many of us are grateful we found this place, and some of us who weren't raised UU, myself included, regret to some degree that it took us so long to find a UU congregation. So why is that? I would say that it is because we do have something to offer that you can't find in a secular community. We have our distinct mission, our purpose as a church family. We join because we believe in what is happening. We join because this is a place where we can ask questions, where we can belong, where we can participate in things that speak to our need for justice, or just make our hearts sing with joy. The list goes on, and each of you has your own, but I doubt any of your lists for joining include, I joined to become a number, a statistic. Now, I'll tell you that as I was writing this, I thought, these UUs, I shouldn't speak with certainty. We're a bit of a quirky bunch, and it's entirely possible somebody joined to become number 70 in the book. See? Laughter. So when we think about how each of us came to be here, it's clear that a focus on trying to grow in numbers is a focus on the wrong thing. Churches grow in numbers by first growing in other ways. In her blog, Growing Unitarian Universalism, Tandy Rogers lifts up 4 other ways to measure growth. The first is growth in organizational maturity. This covers ideas such as, how do we serve our mission? Does our governance structure fit our size? Are our policies community-owned? The second is spiritual vitality. How much do we progress towards spiritual growth? How is Sunday morning carried into the rest of the week? How do we encourage and support each other in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning? How is our theology reflected in our hospitality, in our budget? The third measure of growth is faith in action. How does the community know we are UU by what we do? When we offer or participate in social justice actions, are we able to express that it comes from our values? How does your faith inform how you create justice, love, and beauty in the world? What is the missional footprint as a congregation outside of these walls? And finally, we must attend to associational growth. How do we show up for other communities of faith? How do we support other Unitarian Universalist or Universalist Unitarian congregations? How do we allow them to support us? So this means we have 5 areas, 5 total ways of looking at growth. All growth brings change as the stream continues forward. Numerical growth, bringing in the members as we're so thrilled to be doing today. Organizational maturity, how does our organizational structure reflect who we are? Spiritual vitality, how do we as our mission state sustain each other by spiritual nourishment? Faith in action, how does the community know us by our actions? And associational growth, how do we grow and strengthen our connection to other religious communities? We, of course, don't have time to fully explore all of these this morning, so I invite us to focus on spiritual growth for a moment. I believe that all the other types of growth must first come from this area. And I see this desire most reflected in our mission to be a church where people of diverse beliefs can worship in a spirit of reason, tolerance, freedom, and loving fellowship, committed to social justice, enriched by religious education, and sustained by spiritual nourishment. Was anyone here, and I know at least one of you, or several of you, was anyone here part of this congregation when you crafted this mission? Yeah. I think you did an excellent job. And a couple of months ago, we had a little Saturday morning mission check-in, and those who attended affirmed that this mission still guides our work. As your transitional minister, it is part of my responsibility to reflect back to you who I see you as being. I see this as an incredibly healthy congregation, and I think your mission is part of why. Since spiritual nourishment is specifically mentioned, let's go a little bit deeper before we close. Over the next year and a half, we are going to continue to explore this area in greater depth, with more opportunities for adult religious education. Some of the opportunities we have now include a theology class that is attended by several people, a pub theology gathering that is still in the formation stages. We had one meeting that went very well, and look in your February newsletter for the next date and time. Our first Monday lunch with the minister to discuss the meaning and application of last week's sermon was well attended by 9 people. Our choir has restarted and draws people here early on Sunday mornings so that they can practice the ministry of music. Each of these are opportunities to grow in spiritual vitality, to make our membership in this UU congregation about more than numbers, more than the 3 Bs. These are the opportunities our church's mission has crafted for us to deepen in our spiritual path together. Individually and as a congregational family, our spiritual growth will change our understanding of our role in this world. And yes, growing spiritually may be accompanied by growing in organizational maturity, growing in our associations with other congregations, and growing in our own numbers. Are we ready to grow in any and all of these ways? Are we ready for the change that is necessary for any living stream? My beloved spiritual companions, our focus this month has been on possibility. Last week, we talked about opening to the possibility of considering the difference between our needs and how we meet our needs. This week, I invite you to open to possibility by considering what it means to grow. Warmly welcome our new members and give thanks for the gifts that they are bringing to us. Gifts of their unique voice, their talent, their time, their shared commitment to this congregation. And as we celebrate this form of growth, consider the other ways in which we are called to grow, spiritually, organizationally, and in our associations. For we have not run dry. Our hymn reminds us, as tranquil streams meet and merge and flow as one to seek the sea, our kindred hearts and minds unite to build a church that shall be free. May it be so. Amen.